James sat in his living room, trembling, the walls pulsing faintly as if veins ran beneath the paint. The house breathed with him, matching every inhale, every exhale. It was alive and it was patient. That night, he dreamed of the HOA meeting again. Only this time, he wasn't sitting with the homeowners. He was buried in the roots beneath them, his skin peeling, his mouth sewn shut. The oak root above pulsed, feeding on his blood. He woke drenched in sweat, only to find soil scattered across his bed. Worms wriggled beside his pillow. The house wasn't just haunting him, it was preparing him. On the kitchen table lay a single page torn from the rulebook. New words had been written in blood. Rule 27. When the house calls, you must feed it. The very next morning, Mrs. Harrow knocked on his door. Her smile was too wide, her perfume smelling faintly of mold. "It's time you contribute," she said, handing him a basket of raw meat. "The house is hungry tonight." James recoiled. "I'm not." Her nails dug into his wrist with inhuman strength. "You don't have a choice." That evening, he stood at the basement door, clutching the basket. He had never noticed the basement before. It was as though the house had grown it overnight. The door handle felt warm, pulsing like a heartbeat. When he opened it, a wave of rot and heat engulfed him. The staircase descended into a pit of flesh-like walls, covered in twitching roots. The smell was unbearable. Something shifted in the darkness below. Waiting, he dropped the basket down the stairs, hearing the meat splatter onto something wet. Immediately, the roots writhed forward, dragging the offering into the shadows. Then came the sound. A low moan, not human, not animal, something older. The entire house vibrated with it. James clutched the railing, his stomach churning. Suddenly, a whisper brushed his ear though no one stood behind him. "More? Fresh." Panicked, James stumbled back, slamming the basement door shut. He leaned against it, gasping. From the other side, the wood bulged outward, as though something massive pressed against it, eager to come through. That night, he couldn't sleep. The floor shifted, and sometimes he swore the house whispered his name in the creaks. When he glanced outside, every neighbor stood in their yards, staring silently at his home. Not one moved. Not one blinked. The next HOA meeting was worse. This time, the oak root in the hall pulsed with fresh blood, dripping onto the floor. The homeowners didn't chant rules. They hummed, low and guttural, a sound that vibrated in James's skull. The Harrows announced, "A new covenant must be sealed. The house is displeased." Everyone turned toward James. Their smiles were gone, their faces slack, eyes glazed like puppets. James bolted for the exit, but the door wouldn't open. He pounded on it, only to feel bark spreading across the wood beneath his hands. The hall itself was part of the house, and it wasn't letting him leave. Mr. Harrow approached slowly. "The sooner you surrender, the less it hurts." James shouted, "You're all insane." The oak root lashed upward suddenly, wrapping around his ankle. The faces in the bark opened their mouths, screaming soundlessly. James hacked at the root with a chair, breaking free. He sprinted out a side door, through a hallway he swore hadn't existed before. Somehow he made it back to his house. But his victory was hollow. The house had changed. Its walls pulsed visibly, wet patches spreading across the ceiling. The windows no longer reflected the street, only endless darkness. In the living room, a fresh message had appeared on the wall, carved into plaster by unseen claws. Rule 28. Run if you like. The house is everywhere. James collapsed, realizing the truth. Cedar Pines Estate wasn't a neighborhood. It was one single organism. Roots of every home connected underground, feeding the entity that ruled them all. And now, the house didn't just want meat. It wanted him.